Just making sure everything is connected. We'll know once I pop up. Up there I am. Okay. Hi everyone. So we're on part 2 of analyzing EO's Folklore. So excuse the robe here. It's very cold in my house. I got the heaters on, but they're not super powerful. Alright, so let's just jump right into this. And you can see I am at the swamp. Let's talk about these tracks here. There are no trains in Endless Online. In fact, there's like no cars, no mobile, anything at all. The only thing we see that might possibly be in that realm is like a catapult and maybe a little push cart. So Endless Online was, the world of Endless was advanced enough to have trains. Or maybe it's not trains, maybe it's like mine carts, but then again, where are they? I thought that was kind of interesting. And then we're gonna go over here because I realized, first of all, down here we have trees that jump in the way. That's what we have. I'm almost there, hold on. Okay, we have stronghold. They're called sentry here, but basically, you know, guards. Strongholds. And why are they here? And another thing is, this isn't the only place they appear. Back where centaurs are, when you first enter that area, there's a stronghold explorer there. Why are they here? And why are they not in Estaq? Like, none of them are in Estaq. And if you don't know, Stronghold and Estaq are the exact same place. So that was kind of interesting. I think I'm going to go show you guys also this sign over here real fast. Going back to Udila Gardens, or however you want to pronounce it. I also made a little bit of a connection here. Now, last time you guys saw, I theorized that possibly this was a city back in the day because there's a church, and the only time we see churches is when there's a city. This one, welcome to Adelia Gardens. And you're like, well, why is that important? I don't understand. I was going down city to city, centaurs and Aevens. I don't think Stronghold. But basically, every time you enter into one of these cities, you have this little sign saying, welcome to insert city name here. So that's another pretty good connection that this actually used to be a city that had been destroyed at some point in time. And again, we theorized that maybe 100 years ago is when this war took place, and maybe this is when this fell. And I'm going to switch the camera over. Let me pull that up to here. Okay. There we go. Now what we're looking at is right here. This here is an ancient city, and I said I think these two are connected. Let's see if I can make that a little bigger, perhaps. Maybe a little bit. Okay, we're looking at ancient city here. And then here you have Skywander pillars. They're pretty much the exact same. A little bit of color differences, okay, but the little sphere here is missing here. And something else I was noticing is how frequently this little sword appears. What sword is that? Okay, that's the ancient sword. And remember last time I talked about the Ancient Wraith, and I think this is his sword. Ancient Wraith, ancient sword. Again, someone was telling me it's not pronounced Wraith, it's Wraith, or however. I pronounce it Wraith. So we can see here, that looks pretty similar to what Aposin has, the ancient sword. And then I noticed the weapon guys, they're making the ancient sword. So I'm kind of wondering if it had become iconic. Maybe it was used very often to the point where maybe they make like kind of play swords out of it or something of that sort. I just thought it was a very interesting connection. So we're going to turn this off because I don't need it quite yet. But we are going to head down to, I think, Centaurs real fast, so I can show you guys that guard. Again, he's from Stronghold, and yet there are no guards in Stronghold, but they're kind of scattered throughout the maps. That's kind of odd. Another thing I'm realizing is that Estaq and the Bird Guardians kind of... Oh, here he is. So, Stronghold guy just kind of hanging out. Why? Explorer? Exploring what? I'm not going to go to the Bird Fortress, but I have also seen that there is a Barbarian there. And I'm kind of wondering if Estaq and the Birdmen have some sort of deal where they maybe buy and trade weapons there. It's very possible. They seem to be kind of the more aggressive side. What I mean by that is you have the Estaq guards are kind of scattered all over the place for some reason. And then you have the Birdmen who have been shown to be aggressive because they're trying to take over the Wolfmen area. Let's see. Let me go over to my notes here. Oh, alright. There was something else I wanted to show you guys. Let's see if I have that in that little picture. I thought I did. I think I do. Oh, was it not saved? Okay, hold on. I can fix that. There was something kind of important that should have shown up on that. I will fix that real fast so you guys can see what I'm seeing. I just have to kind of find where that exact area is, exact program is. Sorry, I have two different pictures up. I had this already, but I didn't realize that it was on one and not the other. I wonder if that'll update even. Yes, it does. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to talk about the haunted house real fast, too. Now, you guys know I theorized about possibly the Ancient Wraith is wanting to take over your body. And I noticed there's 5 candles here, and there's 3 here. So I looked up the number meanings of 5 and 3, and I thought it kind of tied in very well. So I'm going to read that off to you. Let's do the 5 first. That is on the first floor of Haunted Mansion. Let me go to my notes. Number 5 meaning. 5 has been considered the symbol of perfection. Also, it is believed that number 5 is a symbol of grace. Also, we can say that number 5 is associated with human body. It means that we have 2 legs, 2 arms, 1 head. So the sum of these parts of the body is 5. That was kind of interesting. So that was the 5. And now let's do the 3. And this is the 3 candlesticks in the haunted house is on the 2nd floor. First of all, we can say that number 3 is associated with Trinity. It means that you receive the protection, guidance, and help from divine forces. Your angels are protecting you. Your guardians are protecting you and giving you support and strength. But that was the first part. And then there was the second part that said... where did it go? Well, let me read it real fast. Supporting your length, math. You know what? It looks like I copied... There was 2 lines. It looks like I copied the first one and apparently did it twice. But I can fix that. Hold on here. Let me just find where I got this at. Okay, here we go. Number 3, again, biblical represents divine wholeness, completeness, and perfection. So, that kind of also ties in. He's looking for a body. And then once he takes over your body, he will be whole, right? Your spirit, his spirit is going to go into a body, a host. So that was kind of interesting connections that I had made for the haunted house. Alright, let's go to... I think it was the swamp I want to go to next. I should probably read my notes. That might actually help. over that. Oh, alright. So I was kind of also theorizing that there, because of the war, like everybody had to help. All the kind of races had to help. And I'm noticing catapults show up a lot. And I see there's one also in the centaur. Also in these areas you can see a lot of crosses. And in the centaur area, there is one cross, just one. And I'm wondering, you know, was he a casualty of the war, or she, whoever it was? That was kind of interesting to find. Why is it there? We don't know. There it is. And you can't click on it, so it doesn't give you any kind of detail as to what or who. But that's what I'm theorizing on this one. I'm kind of wondering also if the birdmen are planning to continue war, since they're always dressed for it. And since there's one barbarian in the bird fortress, I'm wondering if, like, he's sent over there for, like, buying weapons or trading, or maybe a message. Somehow they're tied together. Let's see. Aeven Port. Okay, so we're gonna head over to Aeven Port next. I try to be a little bit more organized this time. There is something rather interesting I found in Aeven Port, and I will show you guys as soon as I get there. These houses. Hollowdale, right? They look exactly like the houses from Hollowdale. There's also one in Aeven Port, and we know that Aeven Port came later. So Sorty had a theory of that possibly Hollowdale came before Aeven, and I think that would back that up perfectly. You have Hollowdale with all those houses, and then they've got these newer houses here in Aeven. And then after that, maybe there were still some Hollowdale houses there, and they maybe took them down and rebuilt, and some of them were left over. So you have old houses and new houses. Wow, you guys are just doing something odd here. Again, we see the Hollowdale houses. And these little bushes are also up in Anudo. I think that can... And there's a ninja as the skill master in Aeven here. So I think that can tell us that they're on pretty good terms with each other. As I said, a lot of them are just living in harmony. You know what, I want to go one more down. Oh, actually, now we're getting close to what I wanted to show you guys. This was pretty interesting. We're actually going to go to... I don't remember the name of the map, but we'll see in just a minute here. It's kind of an odd one. Those brats, every single time they block me. You guys see that? I catch it on camera. Okay, so here we go in here. What is the name of this map? Port Nakid. Okay. Port Nakid. That's where we are now. Now watch what happens when we walk this way. Gnome Forest? What? How? How did we, like, skip 5 maps over? That's pretty odd. I don't know what to even make of that. Is this over in that map area? Is supposedly the boat moving? I don't know. It's hard to say. But Gnome Forest, yeah. Okay. And then we're going to head down to the swamp. The new swamp is as it's referred to. Okay. I was wondering first, I'm like, is that the exit? Well, you know, maybe I'll go to Monkey Island real fast. Just to show you guys something. Now, we talked about this constant book that's always reappearing. There's 2 things. You have the purple book with the crescent moon, which, again, I was trying to get something on that. And when I looked it up, a red crescent moon is usually like 911 help for like emergencies or just aiding in general. So we always see it in usually evil things, but we also see it in good things. And I have found it once again out here. Look at this house. This is very strange. I don't think there's any other house like this in Aeven. Not Aeven, but in Endless. So if we go in here, we got this going on. I thought the purple book was in here, but yeah, that's kind of interesting. So Lost Pirate, is he associated with the witch or Apozen or the Ancient Wraith? I don't know. That's just kind of odd looking to me. Okay, now we'll head down to the new swamp. And this video isn't probably going to be super long like my other ones, just mainly because it's 11 p.m. But I had a pretty busy weekend, so I'm trying to make up for it a little bit because, as you know, I won't be recording until Friday again. So I'm just showing you guys what I have found so far in connections. And I have so far, let's say Aeven map, just to envision that. Everything above, done. Everything to the right, done. The only thing I'm working on now is everything below, which would be the desert. I have yet to explore that. That's going to be next. And when I say it's done, it means I've gone to that map, I've analyzed everything on there, and I've made little notes and written everything down. So I have pretty much analyzed, I would say, half of Endless Online now. Like, literally. These guys, I wanted to talk about them. Now, I did say, I think that Endless Online, and the world of Endless is under some sort of curse, and it's slowly taking over the land. And that I'm assuming that it's the Ancient Wraith causing that, and he needs to live off the land and life support, which is why there's so many dead bodies and skeletons around this area. And this area has already been affected. I thought it was kind of interesting what these guys are wearing. So we're going to talk about kind of two main points here. We're going to go back to this picture that I am hiding. Here we go. Ah! Oh no, did I leave that on the whole entire time? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, guys. That wasn't supposed to be there. I totally thought I turned that off. Okay. Well, you didn't miss much. I do know I'll have to go back and show you what I was talking about. I'm sorry about that, guys. Okay, anyways, here. We're at the new swamp. I'm showing you guys this. He looks like he has villager clothing on him to me. So, possibly someone that was affected by this curse that's going on in Endless. Who knows? They match fairly well. And we're not going to go into the mansion, but, or I guess you could call it mansion. I kind of connected the squares, you know, connect the dots, but connect the squares. I kind of put those together. It came up with this. And it almost maybe looks like a castle, perhaps? I say castle because I can't really think of anything that... I know I see my head's blocked off, but I'm not worried about that right now. I can't really think of anything that might have like a little fountain or a garden in the middle besides maybe a courtyard. And I think a castle is a pretty good guess for a courtyard. Maybe Susan used to be the queen of the courtyard, which is why there's a statue of her in Aeven. I don't know. I don't think that the statue of this woman is directly connected to the king, because we initially thought that it was maybe the queen of the king, but I don't know. This is pretty interesting. So I'm gonna hide this, and then I'm gonna go back and show you guys what what you couldn't see. Let's head back real fast. And let me just check my notes real fast to make sure I covered everything for the swamp. Centaur also has a catapult. I was just talking about it. Centaur has a catapult, Orcs has a catapult, Estaq has a catapult, so maybe everybody's a part of it, of this war that happened. Anudo, I noticed, does not have one, but then again, do they really need it? They're ninjas, they're, you know, trained in combat, so do they really need weapons, other than like a ninja star, perhaps? And we know that there are gravestones out in Anudo, and there is also, that's where Panda Kopanda lives, and he is dead. I don't remember if it said why he's dead, though. I'm assuming it's because of the war. Okay, let's go back to our areas that were covered the whole time by the picture. Okay, let me head on over there. We didn't really miss much, but I can show you guys the port of Nat right here. But, I mean, that's kind of more interesting to see, actually. Is this? No, that's not you. Yeah, let's go. Monkeys, out of the way. Are these apes? I think they're more apes, right? Like a white Donkey Kong. So this is what I was talking about. I think maybe this guy might be connected to Apozen or the Witch or the Ancient Wraith. Just because of his table. We're almost there. We're heading over there now. It would be nice to have like a little bit of a speed boost. I don't want to say speeders because we know that kind of destroys the game, but like just something, like a little boost. Okay, Lost Pirate, and here we go. Here's his table. Look at that. Interesting. He doesn't seem bad. So, yeah, interesting. And I was pointing out that I don't think there's any else kind of, I can't English today. I don't think there's any kind of houses like this in Endless Online anywhere else. Now, again, I haven't been to, like, the entire left side of the map. I still have down in the Noobland area, I have all of that to explore still. And the only other place is the desert. So, I will have to check back with that later. There's another thing here in the Monkey Island is like, I don't know, ancient ruins? Definitely looks like it. We got the debris, we got these pillars that like to show up a lot in Endless. Maybe a pathway. I'd like to try to connect all these pillars later, but in order to do that, I'll have to like screenshot everything. Okay, now we're going to go to port of Neek. Rat, out of the way. It's like they know I'm coming. They just jump right in front of me every time. Okay, here we go. Port Nakid. And then all of a sudden, we're in Gnome Forest. What? And again, I'm re-showing this because my picture was in the way. But now you guys can see that's kind of interesting. Like, I don't know, does that mean we're on the other side of the map? Or did the boat move and we kind of sailed that way? Very interesting. Okay, now we can head out. Alantis. Let's see. From everything I looked over in those maps, I didn't really see anything too strange from Alantis. I will pull up my notes real fast. And just kind of throwing that out. Atlantis, again, has that purple book with the red crest. My interpretation is that perhaps this is kind of like the source of magic in this world, and it's kind of up to you in how you use it. If you know anything about Naruto, let's say like everybody has their chakra and it's up to you. Are you going to use it in a good way or in a bad way? I'm kind of under the impression that this purple book with the red crescent moon is kind of like that. That's how a lot of these people, the witch, Aeven, Ancient Wraith, even the the wizards and maybe even the pandas. That's how they get their magic. And that's why it's showing up with, like, people that may be good or bad. That's what I'm theorizing anyways. Okay, back to Alantis, sorry. So, Alantis has that book. And Alantis on map 2, I think that's like the second floor up, it has chairs, which also, by the way, match the chairs in the farmer's house. And speaking of house, when you finally get to, I think it's the 3rd floor, it's either the 1st or the 3rd floor of Alantis, the walling looks a lot like the haunted house. That's kind of interesting. Maybe they're connected to the Ancient Wraith too. Another thing is buildings, chairs, and stairs for fish. Why? I don't know. Now, we do know that fish can be a breed, like a skin. So maybe they can, what's the word? Morph? Maybe their original form is like a little fish, and then they can morph into a humanoid fish, which would explain why you had chairs and buildings and stairs to walk down in an underground place. Because unless they have arms and legs, then what do they need it for? Alright, let me look at my notes again. So, the last thing isn't anything too special. Maybe I can walk down there and show you guys. And again, the stream isn't going to be extremely long like before, but I wanted to get like a little bit of something in. So what I'm going to talk about is pipes. You're like, what? Pipes? Why? I think I have to be on the other side and up in the corner. I just thought it was interesting that we have pipes in the sewers, and I pointed out that in the very, very back of the PK zone are pipes. So I'm wondering if maybe in this little area that maybe people are thrown in, kind of like the Hunger Games, to like fight for death and it's entertainment. I wonder if they found a way to escape. And then we also remember we read that little sign in there that says it's strictly forbidden to help anybody escape. Okay, here we go. We have the pipes here. Look at this. I don't know if I can make it all the way to the back of PK. I suppose I'll give it a try. That way we can see the pipes firsthand. I know I have to go like way in the back corner in order to find them. But yeah, maybe this PK zone is connected to the sewers and people were escaping that way, and that's why that sign is there. So we're gonna head on over. Let's see who's here. Quite a group of people. Everyone go to bed. It's 11:21 p.m., at least for me. Hi, Danny. Hi, Rodney. He's gonna hunt me down. I'm running from you, though. What are you gonna do? It's starting to get a little difficult walking by. You see this crow? It cut me off, just like the rats. It's starting to get a little difficult to walk by without someone going like, Bling, come here. I'm like, I'm busy. Okay. Let's see if I can sneak in here. Now, I'm not hearing any sound. Maybe because it's not on. It might be a good thing. Again, I can't... I want enabled. Again, I can't hear a lot of my own sound because then I would get a constant replay. So I kind of have to guess. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can't make it to the back. Yikes. I don't hear anything. Is it because I turned my volume down? Normally I can at least hear Endless Online a little bit. But then again, Then again, I know that the music is super loud because I usually go back and listen to kind of get a feel of what I'm saying and how I'm doing. Like I said, I kind of rate my videos. I'll go back and watch myself and be like, what could I do better or different? So I do realize that the music is super loud. It's usually not for me though. It's a perfect kind of volume tone. However, in areas it gets super loud. Like last stream I was in the Ancient. Oh my gosh, the music was so loud. Which, by the way, I want to point out, when you're in the Ancient Wraith zone, that music sounds so final. And remember, I was talking about how it almost gives that feel of you're in the final moments of whatever. And I said that maybe this is how you really complete the game, is by is by encountering the Ancient Wraith. And if you complete the A quest, you in turn help revive his body, and he goes and destroys the world. So that music fits very well. These, what are these? I don't even know. Like, I don't even have a guess as to what these are. I mean, I guess I do. They almost look like, what's the name of them? Okay, a stud? Are they called studs? When you're building a building, I think they're called studs. And basically, it's like something that helps keep the ceiling up, and it's very strong. And you need that to make sure the building doesn't fall down on you. These are like all throughout Endless Online. But pretty often it's in more of the ancient-y looking area. So I'll have to kind of look into that. Now, if you remember, oh, here are the pipes. So if you remember, though, when we were in the swamp, these were showing up, these weird things, which would help. Pillar. Is it a pillar? Okay. Thank you, Ryan. That must be what it is then. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. Either a pillar or like a stud. And I was wondering if I can look around the maps and see if I can't find anything else that this actually goes to, because whenever I see it, it's only that. It's only just this. Is it a part of a house somewhere? And we never really made that connection. I'll have to figure it out. So here we go. Here are the pipes. So yeah, I'm thinking that when the prisoners are all thrown in here, they can escape, and that's why they're down in the sewers. And this is pretty much all that I have so far. If I can make it back out, maybe we'll explore a desert together, because I do think it's rather odd that this factory is way out in the nowhere. Like I was calling it, same spikes I stepped on before. I was calling it like Area 51, because it totally gives that feel. It's like out in the middle of nowhere. No one talks about it. I wonder if they even know it's there. And it's very advanced for Endless, in the world of Endless. The generators and a factory. Power. Well, we have lamps, but they aren't functional. Now you could be like, well, it was never programmed into the game, but remember, we're gonna see this as more as a the world of Endless instead of it's the game. Is the exit over here? I think it is, but let's go double check. Yes. These looks like exity pillars. Which, by the way, I thought it was kind of interesting. When you go to Aeven's lair, there's those two little pillars. They're like really old. And those pillars also show up in the Bard house in Hollowdale, which is really weird. Why would there be part of an old pillar in a house and of a barter of all things? And also, where was it? Okay, the underground fortress. There's a lot of those too. So maybe that's a pretty good strong connection too, that these pillars were a part of, Hollowdale was a part of the war that may have taken place. Now, if you go into the swamp, and it's the panda, Padu, I think his name is, he has this in there. Why does he need it? I don't know. Maybe he just didn't feel safe with the zombies wandering around. But that was kind of interesting to see. It's so odd, so out of place. I wonder if the pandas age quickly or if they're kind of like, what is it, turtles that can live for 500 years? I wonder if the panda race is kind of like turtles. Like I was guessing with the curse is that supposedly maybe that since it's draining the energy out of you, you kind of age very quickly. Which would explain why we have zombies walking around in the new swamp. But on top of that, we have the old wizard. So, possibility. It's kind of out there, but you never know. Let's head on down to the desert. It's kind of interesting that the desert is by water. You ever think about that? Was it always a desert? Did it become one during the war? I don't know. Let's go explore it. Another thing I thought was kind of interesting is if we go in here... Whoops. You have the thief clothes. Interesting. Kind of ties in a little bit with, is Aeven maybe kind of a little bit of a corrupt city? Maybe they carry some old traditions, and I don't know. Possibilities. There was also something interesting someone had said. Let me go pop into my notes. Hold on, guys, I'll be right back. Okay, it seems the heater is working pretty good now. So I didn't know this, or maybe I did and it's completely forgotten, but just give me a few seconds to find it. Okay, so apparently not too long before EO went down, theorizing maybe around 2011. Yeah, maybe around 2011 or 2009, somewhere in that area. Okay, so you got class levels that were locked. Apparently you had to be level 10 in order to get a class. I don't really remember that, but I thought that's kind of interesting. Maybe in the world of Endless, you kind of have to prove yourself of nobility, or maybe leveling helps you get like higher rankings in this world, and maybe that's why people dress a little differently. Some look fancier than others. Like blue is kind of out of the norm, because normally there's browns and golds and whites. That's kind of what I'm getting the feel of, is that the color kind of tells you your nobility. So things look pretty normal in here. Let's click on Nomad. Buying. Just pots. Ingredients for a royal potion. And this is what I have been doing for every single map that I have been exploring. Is that I go in any building I have, any kind of entrance, I look there, and I just run around everywhere. I also go on to, let me make sure I read that off right, sortie.co.uk. And if you were to click that little squiggly lines up on the top left corner, there's Explore EO, which is so helpful. I like having a bird's eye view of this, of like all the maps I go to, because there might be something I don't see, because these are pretty huge maps to search. And just like that, it's up. So something I find valuable are signs, because signs have information on them that we might not know. So we're going to head back down here, because using that bird eye view, I just realized I totally walked past this. Earthquake warning. Do earthquakes actually happen in the desert? I don't remember. I kind of do, maybe. Like, it seems right before you enter into, where all the gnomes are. Isn't there, like, an earthquake that usually happens in that area? Hi. So that's kind of interesting that that's a norm for Endless Online, and for the world of Endless, is that earthquakes go on. What I'm doing right now is just examining the bird's eye view of this map, and it seems like that might be the only sign we get. We see one tree that also has a bunch of bones around it. What exactly are these bones? First impression I get is like maybe ribs, rib cage. Are there giants? Aposin's pretty giant, so that's not a too far off guess. You know, there's also, I forgot, there's also the pyramid quest and all that. Eventually, I'm going to do all the quests too for the storyline and also citizenships. But we'll get there when we get there. Right now, we're analyzing the maps. But what I was going to say is I have yet to do that one. I might have to bring in my tank. Whoops, I overshot. I wanted to go check out the buildings. I still need to go check out those maps. And then this whole area will be complete. And then it's everything below and then to the left. So these are kind of interesting walls. I'm going to take a picture of that because that's what I do to help me kind of know where I am. I'll also be like, I'll say desert and type it and take a picture. Like if I didn't know this was a desert house, I would type it. Here, look at that, combat dolls. What are they called? Combat dummies? And they're here out in the forest. Out in the desert? What? Why? Who's he? Baru Shepherd. How interesting. He's actually talking about dummies. I already completed that quest. I don't want to do it again. But yeah, combat dummies. There we go. That's interesting. And the only other time we really see those is with Guild Bob. And the temple out in Aeven. This looks normal. So in houses, it seems what piques my interest is usually if the little purple book is involved. That's usually a tattletale. Something's going on there. Okay, so now I was saying that there's no houses like that going back to the Monkey Island. The roofs do look similar, and it does look a lot like the same house, but a little different. And I wonder if maybe these are made out of sand, possibly. Or maybe it's just old. Because look at these cracks on the bottom. Look at all that. Decay? Is it falling apart? Same thing with here. It's falling apart. Are these holes on the bottom? Why? Or is it just like kind of like sand built up against the wall? There's those bones again. Okay, let's head on up. If I can sneak through here, which I think I can. Yes, I can. Okay. That's desert shop. Again, I am using the Sortie Explore EO for the next map. Desert 2. That must be... Yep, that is it. Okay. That looks pretty normal. There's nothing too odd about that. I like the music for this map. See, it seems to me that earthquakes happened right here in this spot. And I can't recall if they do commonly happen here. They do happen. Thank you, Ryan. I'm going back and forth looking at the comment section. Or live chat. My husband says I have to say it correctly. It's live chat, it's not comments. Okay, so let me go in real fast and then back out. And what we're going to do here is click on that. Enter killing grounds. This is a player kill PK zone. Caution. Aeven port. Dizzy desert. Okay, so we're going to type the D in and look for Dizzy desert on the map overview. Oh, I passed it. How do I go back? You can't. You gotta do it all over again. If you were to ever listen on this, open up the Endless Online file and you were listening to the music, this sounds so incredible when you speed it up. It's like, wow. It's like a completely different song. That's a lot of sand. This is most definitely the desert. Okay, so we got, I know the factory is way below. Did I not go in? Whoops. Whoops, where am I going? I totally thought I went in. I'm getting confused because I'm looking at the overview map. So here we have the what they call rock golems. You got the gnomes, aggressive, rock golems are not, and just the rocks. Who used to be super mega weak to twin blades. You guys remember that when you would hit with them? Holy moly, the damage you would do would be incredible. Okay, I'm trying to figure out. I should have been able to just go up. Oh, I see. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong one then. I was looking at the factory entrance. Hi, gnome. Can I help you, sir? I don't think so. I know you can't help me. So, gosh, I don't know what one to do first. I do want to work my way to the factory, but I also want to look at, I think it's called Josiah or Josiah's. Jose? Jose? I don't know. That person that owns the house. I kind of try to walk and compare where I am on the bird's eye map view. Kind of helps move along, especially when you're in Apozen's lair. So we're going to kill these guys off. Joe Sand. Let's pull up the overview map for that. Oops. Joe Sand. That's perfect. That's what we want. Joe Sand's looking pretty normal. I don't see any signs. This though, this kind of looks interesting. They almost look like footprints. In fact, I wonder if they are. That's pretty fine detail, if that is the case. But it's like you can follow them out. Odd. Yeah, those totally look like footprints to me, and they're just going in a consistent line. Here's Abe. Oh, look, a rock golem. Stone golem, okay. Yeah, that is kind of interesting that there are, to me, footprints in this game, because that's pretty odd. Fine details in Endless Online, look at that. Okay. This is called East Joe Sand. So let's pull that up now. I see the house. Bones. We have water. And there is an entrance up ahead, but I don't think this is like active, right? Let's find out. No. So I also think these kind of things are interesting. Now, if we were to go back to the new swamp, and you went to the swamp mansion, as we call it, and I go up to the 3rd floor, you'll notice up in the way back in the right top corner, there's like this, kind of like this. It looks like it should be an exit or an entrance, but it's not functional. I don't think it's for a quest, but it's interesting when these things are here. It always leaves the door open for like theorizing if there's a map out of place, like this could easily go there. Nice little house way out here. What is this? You know what? It kind of looks like Japanese writing. I wonder if anybody has ever tried to like translate that. I'm going to take a picture of this house, save that for later. I'm looking at these right now because those almost match, not perfectly, but those almost matched kind of like what we were looking at earlier when I was talking about these things showing up. I guess we can call it a door frame for now to give it a name. So we are right in assuming that possibly it's 4 houses. If you pay attention to the pianos, sometimes they have a stool in front, other times they don't. So this looks pretty normal. Look at this wall. That's interesting. I don't recall seeing this wall anywhere else before, but I just like it. It's a nice design. So that's this place up here. Now we'll head back down to the actual factory. I'll try not to die, but it's not guaranteed. We have quite a ways to go, though. Well, I guess along the way, let's kind of talk about Aeven, not Aeven, Ancient Wraith hit list. That's kind of interesting that he has those top people that he wants you to take out. Now, Aeven, I can see being a threat. Maybe he's stronger than him at the current point. Or maybe Aeven because he fights with the Ancient Wraith sword. He's angry about that. But then again, it's the Reaper that drops that. So, who has his sword? I don't know. I also kind of wondered, I wonder if Ancient Wraith used to be giant, like Aeven. And then I was thinking, what if the reason why we see the ancient sword showing up so much is because the sword is like, it takes pieces to put together. Oops, did I miss it? I think I did. No. Like, let's kind of think about if you've seen Dragon Ball and they have all the Dragon Balls and when they're together they summon the dragon. Well, maybe it's something similar to that. When all the ancient sword pieces are together, it's a whole sword and he's giant and massive. So it's like Aeven. Or maybe each is a fragment of power. Who knows? And I talked about how I think possibly, where is the exit? How did I get lost? Okay. This is not familiar. What? That is very odd. Did I already go through? Okay, I must have gone through, and because I'm talking, I'm not paying attention where I'm going. Oh, here's Abe. Okay, I'm totally lost. I thought I was back at the other map, but I'm not. That's why I didn't recognize where I am. Okay, so we were talking about possibly that this statue in Aeven that has no encryption. If it was the king or the prince, you'd think it would say that, but it doesn't. What if it's an ancient statue? Again, a possible correlation that that is the Ancient Wraith. And he has a headband. What if maybe the Ancient Wraith was a apprentice of Panda Copanda? And like I said, maybe he was good before and now he's evil. And then I was wondering, well, what if maybe for some reason Panda Copanda said, like, nope, you're not my apprentice anymore. I'm not doing this. And so he picked up the ninja gym leader, a noodle leader. So he's the new apprentice, which is why, okay, factory. We're going to the factory, which is, we're going to take the shortcut. We're going to go back down, and then we're going to go over to the left. After we kill these guys and get them out of the way. Okay, so what if Panda Copanda had Ancient Wraith as an apprentice? He turned evil or was heading towards that area. He said, nope, you're no longer my apprentice. And he picked up the ninja leader as the new apprentice. And now the Ancient Wraith is targeting him because of that. I think it's one more over. And then again, there's that little comment too. No? I know there's a fast way to get over here. Where is it? Maybe it's over here. Okay, so it's down and over. Oh, okay. I think I overshot it. Because I know the secret entrance is close to the factory. So apparently I went the long ways. I just totally went in a circle. It happens. It happens. And for the Octo, I have not got down there yet. But I'm trying to think of a reason why he might, like, have a vendetta against him. Why would he want to take out Octo? Now, we know that they're all, like, you know, the ultimate bosses, the leaders. But I was thinking of something. How come the king wasn't on that list? He's the king of Aeven, so you think he would be on that list of people to take out, but he's not. Why? Is it because he's a human and he's considered so insignificant that he's like, no, he's gonna die on his own? So I thought that was rather interesting. He just totally left the king alone. I'm gonna pull out the bird's eye view again. Now I can go in here. So what is this exactly? What is this? I know the screen's nice and big for you guys, but I gotta like get super close because I can't see it too well. It looks like gold? It looks like a hairball, that's what it looks like. But I don't know, melted gold? Maybe? Copper? Possibly? But why is it just like a heap of melted something? I mean, we know it's hot in the desert, but is this like a super sensitive kind of metal that melts to heat? We don't know. So again, desert is way out here. It's just hidden for no reason. Or unless there is a reason they don't want to be known about. And I guess you could say they're connected to Endless because we see these things down in the sewers. Why do you really need these engines down there? Please shut down the upper right generator first and return here so I can adjust them. Adjust the system. I'm not actually going to do the quest, but later down the road. We're just examining right now. We see these little cages and these little generators and these pipes. All of these are down in the sewers. Their clothing, too, is different. That's completely different from what we're used to seeing. Interesting. Okay. So let me pull up the bird's eye view of the factory again to see if I can spot anything that seems to be a little out of place. The factory itself is just out of place. And some of these maps don't really show names. Sometimes they do, most of the times they don't. So when I go to look for a bird's eye view, I can't find it because it's under something else usually. Like right now I just searched factory and I found factory entrance, but that was it. Okay, what was that? And the reason I do bird's eye view is because, again, it's a giant map. It's so easy to miss something. I just have to read this because there's no real way to organize this. I can only type the first letter. That's the only downside about this. It's really nice and cool, but it's like, first of all, it's all by names mostly, but like I can't see the number, so if I'm on, it's so hard to explain to you guys without like actually showing you this. Basically, I have a list of names, and what shows up is a list of numbers. So I can't be like, oh, I know what map I'm on, because I have to keep having a drop-down menu to show me a name, and then when the map is pulled up, it's a number. So it's only one or the other. I can't tell which is which. So it's a lot of guessing involved if I don't know the exact name, or if I don't know the exact name, or if I don't know where I left off at, because I can't organize it. It's a little difficult on that part. Now, I could risk just going in, but of course, if I go in, I'm possibly gonna die if I'm not paying attention. But here's the thing, if I go in, maybe it'll give me a map title that I can then search, because there are a lot of maps to search. 292 is what is listed on this website here. And because there are some places that don't have names, it makes it very difficult. I have to guess what it might be called. Like, if you notice, they kept calling the swamp place the mansion, because that's what it's listed as on here. But in nowhere in Endless Online is it called mansion, at least as far as I know. So I'm just trying to speed read through 292 maps to see if maybe I can find it, which is not happening. Crazy Factory. That's what it's called. Okay. So again, I'm looking at an overview map, trying to find something that might be out of place. This is pretty normal looking for a factory. A lot of cages, a lot of the pipes we were seeing. I'm going to zoom in a little closer. No, there's something that's odd to me. Except for the fact that it's like way out in the middle of nowhere. That's odd. Now what I'm going to attempt to do is look for the generators. Let's see if I can point anything out. I mean, even if we don't really find anything, I'm still going to walk in and show you guys the map a little bit. Control center, I know that has to do with that. Very normal. there is something that is off, of course, of the factory, and that's that I guess you could say that the robots have become sentient. Is that the word? Where, like, they're aware, and now they're trying to attack you and kill you. What happened there, guys? Which I believe is why you have to help shut off the generator in the first place, is because these crazy robots are taking over and they're attacking and killing everything. But there are no dead bodies in here. That's interesting. I'm gonna look up the word G real fast for generators. No, I don't see it. Okay, well, we're just gonna go in. And then we're gonna run. So these are kind of interesting. These little robot guys. What were they made for? What were their intentions? Who knows? You know, these guys almost look like, I'll attempt to say the name. I'll explain it, you guys don't know what I'm talking about. But the Azeroths, the green little guys that are out by centaurs, they kind of look like them. Like, let's say that these are the little scythe hands. It got a head and a little round body. Maybe it was supposed to be, like, designed from them. The shapes of these guys kind of seem like the Hat of Wonder guys. It's very odd, but that's what they remind me of. I don't know what to think about the little tiles floating around on the floor. Perhaps it's a tall building that we're in. Or maybe it's a deep building that we're in, and maybe you would step on these and you would go up or down. What are these? I have no idea. Something that's coming to kill me. And let's see, maybe we can gather information from these guys. Let's see, can I go in there? I think that's, I just shouldn't do that because that's gonna lock me in, I believe. You just kind of have to outsmart these guys sometimes and know where not to step. Because it would be very easy to have like a horde of monsters attacking you. And then you step in the wrong spot and then they just kill you off. I was gonna say, so like for parts, it's all metal. So the oddest thing about the factory is, first of all, its location. And then why are there robots that are trying to kill us? Are they just some sort of design, just a random design, or are they based off of something? Okay, here's these little guys. Nope, 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 Ah! I walked through it, don't ask me how. It's probably because, like I said, I think the game comes with Ghost. I think it's called Ghost. Can I walk this way? I sure hope so. No! It comes with something called Ghost, where you can just walk right through things, but you have to, like, I believe it's active if you simultaneously walk on the same square at the exact same time, which then activates the Ghost, where it's like, oh, I don't recognize it. Whereas normally it would cut you off, like, it would stop you. At least this is how I understand it. So those protos, I think they're called protos. Here we go. What are those based off of? Who is this? Somebody might not be doing too well. Well, I wouldn't mind trying to stop and look at a proto for a while, but you can see that's not very easy to do. Plus, I don't think many of them spawn. So overall, factory is pretty normal, except for what's going on in the factory. And I don't think there's much more to analyze here. Except for maybe why was it created in the first place? Why were there robots? Were they for good? Were they for evil? They were probably for good. And then they got out of hand because they decided that they don't need to have human masters. Other than that, this is a pretty well detailed. Can I walk in there? Is that the first generator I have to turn off? Nope. Well, maybe it's for further along in the quest. I'm not going to do it, but I was just curious. I was just doing it because I can. Now this guy was hiding up here. I don't think I can get into that area either unless I am actively doing the quest in order to turn down the generators, which if we were to go to the map of the generators... Uh-oh, did he die? Oh. Well, I'm not going to take his stuff. How do I get out? I know there's a little box section. Yes, that. Is it that one? Let's go find out. Okay. Anyways, I was going to say that you do have to, let's call it going further down, because I think there's stairs that lead down, and each map has like another generator, which again isn't too, it's not too suspicious, except for like everything here. So that is the best I can analyze for this. There is also, like I said, the pyramid one, but that's going to be a little difficult to do, just because being on a map that kills you, that's kind of hard. But, I mean, it's totally going for, like, a really ancient theme. We can see that. Pulling up the pyramid map right now. Let's zoom in a little bit, and let's see what we can see. Again, we see that kind of, I guess I'll just call it Japanese writing. I don't know if that's what it is, but that was written on the wall of the town, of the building out in the desert. And if we were to zoom in on these walls, there are here too. And there's a random chair. You need to sit down and take a break from all that death, I guess. So that's kind of interesting that the writing on the wall is directly linked to that house out in the desert. Maybe they know about this area. A lot of spikes going on. We have a ball chain. Perhaps prisoners are thrown here. Maybe a sacrifice? That's very odd. I guess I can kind of show you guys what I'm looking at right here. That way you have a little bit of an idea. Let me just fix that real fast. So if I was to do this... Oh dear goodness. Okay, now I gotta find it. Now, let's see if I did that to the right one. There we go. That is not the right one. Okay. That's okay, though. I think I have the other one up. And we do this. Make it larger. There we go. Okay. And then you guys will see that in just a second. There. Okay. This is what I'm looking at. This is suspicious to me. I just theorized that possibly there's a chain ball because of prisoners. This definitely looks like some sort of sacrificial thing going on here. Then where does that lead down to? I don't even know. I don't have a guess. Is it a part of a quest? Yes, it is a part of a quest. Could you go down there if you had the quest activated? I don't think so. Or maybe you could. I don't know. It's been a long time since I did this one. But something like this is interesting. And that has my attention. Here is the writing on the wall that I was talking about. That's the exact same writing that matches the house out in the desert. Let's continue looking at this map. I noticed something that shows up very, very often. Let me see if I can take a picture. I think somebody had like an obsession with 4. There's always 4 of something in a group, and they're always, like, evenly placed. But if we were stepping out of the game realm and we were stepping into the world of Endless, I don't know how you would even explain that. Okay, that should be changing now. There you go. This is very common. Like, maybe it's a table, 4 chairs. Maybe there's 4 pillars. Maybe 4 treasure chests. It's like always 4, and it's always in a square. I don't think we can theorize that one into anything specific other than somebody really liked 4. They were very even when they did this, when they were putting the maps together, because it is consistently showing up. Always in the group of 4s. There we go. There's the dead bodies. I was wondering. I was like, I wasn't seeing many of them, but I found it. I found them now. Coco, go lay down. So this is very interesting. And I know this is only part of the quest. There's another huge map to explore. And this is kind of hard to show you guys, but maybe I can transfer that over so you can see just exactly what I'm looking at. That way you have an idea as to how I do this. Holy moly. How do I even shrink this down? Sheesh. It's huge! Okay, I'm about to show you guys this. And it's going to be massive, I'm sure. Okay, how do I move this? If I shrink it down, bring it over, shrink it some more. So, using that bird's eye view, this is what I look at. Very helpful. Now the problem is I'm going like to every single square, examining it, looking at it, seeing something that seems out of place, and there is a magnifying glass on this website that I told you about that does help me see better as to what's going on. I'm just going to leave that there while I continue examining these rooms. A lot of terracotta pots. Or maybe they're made out of something else. It's hard to say. Spikes, pillars. Going back to those stairs, there's something in the middle. That's usually not a good sign. My dog is an old man. I think he cries out sometimes because he's just kind of maybe hurting. He's a little chihuahua. So, going from square to square to square, I guess that one's kind of interesting. I'll pull that up and make it so you guys can actually see that a little better. And then we'll go over that. Here we go. That's a good size. That should be turning soon. Okay, let's get that a little bigger. That's interesting, isn't it? Let me jump back over so it's bigger for me. There, shovels, again. You got the shovels, you got the barrels, all over Endless. Why? And you got 2 little stools just to be comfy, and then you got that random chair that was on one of the top maps we had seen. Let me kind of look over it's down on the bottom corner. Gonna go examine that. So as you can imagine, this is, what in the world is that all about? What? I'll show you guys that too. That's odd. Somebody either misplaced or they were just having fun. Let's see here. There it is. Okay. Is that the only one like that? I wonder. You guys will see just a second what I'm talking about. Make it large. One more to do it. Yeah, okay. And that should be changing now for you guys. Do you see this pillar? What? This, I mean, there's a chair in it. Why? Let's make this a little larger. Yeah, what is that all about? That is odd, but okay. Is it some ancient mystery that we don't know about? I doubt it. But still, it was an interesting catch. Random chair in a pillar. Okay. That's interesting. Let me find that now. Eesh. Oh, okay, it's not as interesting now. Before, when I was zoomed out, it kind of just like looked squares inside of squares, but when I zoomed in, it's just spikes in a square pattern. That's not interesting. But from what I can tell, it's definitely a death trap. They don't want you in there for sure. Definitely want to avoid that area. Who knows what went on in here. I'm trying to think of the name of the map that the actual pyramid is. Vult-r Island. Hold on. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. We're gonna look at this a little bit, and then I think we'll be ending the stream pretty soon here. I'm gonna show this to you guys. You can also see what I am seeing. Make that a little larger. Okay, call that good. Now you guys should be seeing that too. And there it goes. Okay. Look at that. Huh. My head's gonna be cut off a little bit. That's fine. I just want you guys to see this. So very helpful again. From here, do we see any signs? I have to get super close because I can't tell. I can see the billboard here. Why do you need a billboard far out there? We don't know. We don't know who built this. I suppose you could say it was the shamans. Because the shamans are the ones that are in here, and you have the king worm, which, by the way, the king worm and the Azurus do look familiar, and again, it brings you back to the what were they called? Let me get a picture of all of them close together so we can just kind of look at them. Look at them side by side. Just give me one moment here. We will put these all together. I just thought it was interesting that the king worm looks kind of close to the Azura, or however you pronounce that name. And again, that's the little green thing that's out by centaurs. But how interesting that it only not shows up in what seems to be in the factory. It looks like it maybe was replicated. Even the color patterns are pretty similar. So you got two of these things that are out in the desert, and then you have the one that's like way out in the centaur. Okay, almost ready to show you guys. Almost. Okay, let's make them big so everybody can see. And how is that? Do you guys see this? This is the exact same sprite of the worms. I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna put it right there. You guys were like, wow, it really is. So, can we say that these Azuras and these worms, like, maybe bred and mutated together and this is their love child? I don't... What do you call that? Very interesting, though. So, no ice. It has little things. It got antennas up here and little things here. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Okay. Let's also look at the shaman. Let me find him real fast. There he is. Now, I don't go in here often. So if there are different enemies that show up, I am not aware. But I know this guy shows up. He's got like scars on him. I'm trying to figure out if I want to make this bigger. Hold on. It just helps when it's gigantic. Because Endless Online tends to be a little teeny tiny pixel game. There we go. So he's got a scar on his eye, scar across the chest. Hey, which, by the way, look at his chest. Do you see that? It looks similar to the X on the Buccaneer. I might have to pull that from somewhere else, though. I don't think I can show you through the item display in Endless Online. I have to actually pull that from somewhere else. Just give me 1 second. I can do that. Okay, there we go. And again, this kind of links together because this outfit that I'm about to show you, it's relatively the same area. So as you can imagine, this takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of everything. Okay, let's get this guy in focus. He's almost ready. It almost looked similar to me, the X on his chest and this X thing on the back. Is that possibly a symbol somewhere of something, of the shaman? I don't know. Very interesting. So I think we'll call it a stream here. I'll continue analyzing everything. But yeah, that's it so far, guys. Nothing super groundbreaking, but it is kind of weird that these guys match up. And this X is a little similar to him, maybe. But definitely this is interesting. So yeah, it gets a little boring just sitting here doing hours and hours and hours of research, but that's what you gotta do, right? In order to analyze everything. Anything and everything Endless Online related. Alright, I'm gonna stop the stream. You guys have a good night. It is 12:22 a.m. I gotta work in the morning and I gotta go, and next live stream will be on Friday. See you later. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining.